Good afternoon, learners and parents. I'm Betty Rousseau, EP Media publisher and regional editor. EP Media is a division of Media24 and distributes 5 free express local newspapers across the Eastern Cape to over 200,000 households every week. I would like to welcome and thank all learners and parents attending this webinar, as well as the panelists for taking the time to advise our youth and leaders of the future. This series of career webinars, sponsored by Isuzu in South Africa, reaches far beyond the boundaries of the Eastern Cape, and it is aimed at equipping and empowering high school learners across the country with information to make one of the most important decisions of their life. This is the second of a series of 6 webinars, which will be presented once a month. The recording of the first career webinar, which focused on career guidance and all the higher education options available to learners, are available on the Express Facebook page. All the webinars are recorded and can be used by life orientation teachers in class for learners who could not attend the live webinars. The benefit of attending the free live webinar is that you have the opportunity to ask questions to the expert panelists, and you can win a prize for your school. Today's webinar is about Mechatronics and the Isuzu Chair of Mechatronics at Nelson Mandela University. The next career webinars presented by Isuzu Express will focus on artificial intelligence, which will be broadcast on July the 22nd, education on August 19th, then there will be a webinar on September the 23rd, which will focus on journalism, and our last webinar in this series will be on October 21st, and it will focus on logistics. So what is Mechatronics? In a nutshell, Mechatronics focuses on the engineering of electronic, electrical, and mechanical engineering systems. So it's a combination of electronic, electrical, and mechanical systems. The panelists selected for this first webinar are experts and students in the field of mechatronics. First up on our team of panelists is Professor Igor Goller, who is the Isuzu Chair of Mechatronics. Welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Professor. We also have Etienne Venter from Isuzu Motors South Africa, who is responsible for manufacturing.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, Etienne. Etienne is at Isuzu, and he is responsible for manufacturing engineering at Isuzu's manufacturing operations in Port Elizabeth. Welcome, Etienne. To tell us more about Mechatronics. Nice to have you here. To tell us more about Mechatronics from a current student's perspective, we have Akanya Kakweni on the panel. Welcome, Akanya.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Then we have Nyameko Mhlonsi on the panel to tell learners more about the requirements for studying mechatronics at the NMU. Welcome, Nyameko.
Hello, everybody, and to you, Betty. Thank you for having me.
All right. We definitely have some interesting knowledge to share with our learners tonight. So first up on our team of panelists, just to give you a quick CV of who our panelists are, is Professor Igor Goller, who is the Isuzu Chair of Mechatronics, responsible for the Strategic University-Industry Partnership. Prof. Goller was born in 1959 in Ukraine. After graduating as a mechanical engineer in 1981, he worked as a factory engineer and then as a lecturer. In 1992, Prof. Goller and his family immigrated to South Africa. While lecturing at Wits Technikon for 10 years, he completed a master's degree at Wits University and then a doctorate degree at the Northwest University. In 2004, Prof. Goller moved to Nelson Mandela University, where as head of department, he was responsible for establishing the bachelor degree in mechatronics. Next on, we've the CV of Etienne. Etienne Venter, who, like we said earlier, is from Isuzu, South Africa. Etienne studied mechanical engineering at the University of Stellenbosch. This is also where he completed his postgraduate studies in industrial engineering with mechatronics as main subject. Etienne has been working in the automotive industry for the past 24 years. He's currently working at Isuzu Motors South Africa and is responsible for manufacturing engineering at Isuzu's manufacturing operations in Port Elizabeth. In a nutshell, he's responsible for all manufacturing projects in the assembly plant. This includes the planning, design, and implementation of projects to support change in the manufacturing environment. These projects include structural engineering projects, mechanical engineering and controls, and automation, and is often a combination of all these elements. And next up, we have Akanya. To tell us more about mechatronics from a current student's perspective, we have Akanya on the panel. He's currently a final year student in mechatronics engineering at Nelson Mandela University, working on his final year project under the chair of mechatronics with the support of Isuzu. Akanya, who is 23 years old, was born and raised in Idutwa, a small town in the Eastern Cape. He currently holds a national senior certificate and is pursuing his Bachelor of Engineering degree in mechatronics in honours. During this webinar, we will also be showing you videos sent in by former mechatronics students at NMU who is currently working in the industry. They will give a personal view of why they studied mechatronics and what it's like to work in the field of mechatronics. Next on the panel, we have Nyameko Mdlonsi. He's here to tell learners more about the requirements for studying mechatronics at the NMU. He graduated with a National Diploma in Marketing and furthered his studies and enrolled for a BTech degree at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. He moved to Port Elizabeth in 2016 and worked as a student recruitment specialist in marketing and communications at Nelson Mandela University. At the end of this webinar, he will tell everyone what are the requirements and admission requirements, the application and admission requirements, as well as info on bursaries and other financial assistance. First off, I would just like to give our viewers a background into the Isuzu Chair of Mechatronics at NMU. For those wondering what a chair at a university is, in short, it is a unit established for collaboration between the university and Isuzu. This chair at NMU allows mechatronics students to design special projects and gain workplace experience at Isuzu. Engineers at Isuzu identify projects and then students come up with solutions. So it's a win-win situation for both parties. The students get practical experience and Isuzu wins from the designs and problem solving that they come up with. The initial chair was created in 2009 in collaboration with GM South Africa and was rebranded as the Isuzu Chair in 2018. The chair's aim was to support the newly established bachelor degree in engineering in mechatronics at NMU, which is the only four-year degree in engineering in the Eastern Cape. This chair has been playing a crucial role in ensuring full accreditation of the Bachelor's in Engineering Mechatronics degree program by the Engineering Council of South Africa, by providing a synergetic collaboration between academia and industry. The Isuzu Chair has become a well-known symbol of the Bachelor's of Engineering Mechatronics program in South Africa and abroad. Among the chair guiding principles is to enhance the Bachelor's of Engineering Mechatronics degree program with the latest technologies applied in the automotive industry. The chair identifies, together with the company engineering departments, relevant and mutually beneficial industrial projects of a various degree of complexity for undergraduate and postgraduate students. In other words, the engineers at Isuzu identify projects that they would need some help with, and according to the degree of complexity, this is then given to students to help develop. It facilitates students' interaction with the company through industrial projects as part of their studies, visits, and other activities. The chair also facilitates applied research and knowledge transfer between industry and academia. It also provides support for junior students especially from the previously disadvantaged communities, to bridge the gap between school and university. There's also a Mechatronics mentoring program aimed at addressing the poor pass rates of first-year Mechatronics students. The mentoring program creates a better study environment to ease the transition from secondary to tertiary education, and it assists students from previously disadvantaged communities. Before we go into talking to the panelists, we would like to show viewers some examples of the NMU students' projects, specifically those for Isuzu. Prof. Gorlach will take us through these projects that were done in conjunction with Isuzu.
Thank you, Betty. First, I would like to show you the example of the student project where you can see the students develop special trolleys to handle truck cabins to be delivered from the storage area to the assembly line. And the uniqueness of this design is that a big variety of truck cabins can be handled by one trolley that was developed by the students. So this is a typical example of the project that normally junior students would receive from Isuzu. The next project is automated guided vehicle that was designed by students for conveying parts for the assembly line. So it's a fully automated car or vehicle that would convey this type of trolleys loaded with parts from area where the parts are loaded or sorted to the exact point where these parts are fitted to the vehicle. So that was a very exciting project done by a number of students, including some postgraduate students. So the next project would be the project given to the whole group of students, mechatronics students, and they would compete with each other. This is a typical project done in groups of 4 or 5 students. And then the best design would be then selected by the panelists from Isuzu. In this case, there was a design of a special automated assembly system for handling the automatic gearboxes on the assembly line, for example. And the next project involves design a very special support trolley. As you can see, that trolley is handled by 3 workers painted in yellow color. That trolley was designed to hold trucks while they are on the assembly line. That also was a unique design in terms of handling of, again, big variety of truck sizes and modifications. And the trolley then would be uniquely folded down and then delivered again to the beginning of the assembly line. It's all, again, a project fully completed by students, mechatronics students. And the next project involves the design of the robotic tool, the one that can handle 3 different types of car bodies. You can see the small single cab type of vehicle, then extended cab and crew cab. They're different in size, so the robot needs to hold all 3 types with one tool, or we call it gate, robotic gate. And that design is unique because you need to make sure that all 3 would be types of bodies can be handled by this holder or tool. And then the robot can, of course, manipulate it and bring it to the welding station. The next project was on designing of a complete assembly line for new bakkies that would be assembled at Isuzu, and that involves designing of the same assembly of rear axle of that bakkie. So the students, you can see them in this slide. They were started to design and then come up with a very innovative and well-rounded design of the whole assembly line. And the next one is, or maybe just to complete, is again example of a robotic system where the students design the fixture to hold a car panel for the spot welding by robots in a robotic cell. That also requires quite involvement of design from various aspects, accuracy, rigidity, strengths. So that was all accomplished by our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof, for showing us that. This is a live webinar, so you are welcome to ask questions in the chat box that will be posed to the panelists as time allows after I've put a few questions to them. So please post your questions and we'll see if we have enough time to answer those questions. First off, I would like to ask Prof Gorlach to tell us more about the Isuzu Chair of Mechatronics and its purpose, basically in a nutshell. What is the most important aspect of this chair for you?
Thank you, Betty. The South African government identified a shortage of technical and engineering skills in South Africa a long time ago. So the focus of this chair is actually to help to develop young engineers with certain skills that when they enter industry, they already can contribute from day one. So by having students involved in real industrial projects, we allow students to gain required skills. Also working with factory engineers on projects, they also can quickly gain understanding of the work environment, and that's what's important for us. So we kind of building the bridge between academia and industry. That's what the most important that our chair is contributing in this regard. Thank you.
Yeah, it is so important these days to bridge that gap that was there in the past between academia and industry, so that what you learn in academia can actually be applied in real life situations and giving the students that practical advantage. So my next question is to Akanya. Akanya, to be quite honest, when I learned about mechatronics, I had to go and Google what mechatronics is. So it's been quite an eye-opening experience for me as well. I would like to know from you, coming from a small town in the Eastern Cape, where did you learn about mechatronics and what made you decide to become a mechatronics student at Nelson Mandela University?
Thank you, Betty. Coming from a small town, I with poor network coverage, and I also didn't know about the course. But then there was a time during my matric when agents from the school, from the university came and basically presented different courses. And they basically presented mechatronics, and instantly I just knew that I fell in love basically with the course, mainly because growing up, I used to enjoy building stuff. But then looking at the current market and the fact that we are as a human generation moving to the fourth industrial revolution, where basically we're automating things, basically more systems are becoming more smart. So I thought it was a great idea that I took the course, and also looking at the current crisis of the country, where there's a huge youth unemployment rate. So I thought it would be a good idea to pick one of the courses that are very scarce, because that means then there's rather much more availability of employment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. My next question is addressed at Etienne. So, with this webinar, we're looking at mechatronics, and particularly with mechatronics and the joint venture with Isuzu for the chair at NMU. Can you perhaps tell us how is mechatronics applied in the workplace at Isuzu Motors?
Thanks, Betty. Yeah, I mean, at Isuzu, in its manufacturing operations, we use people with mechatronic skills are applied in the design and the installation and the upkeeping of all manufacturing processes. These include mechanical and electrical applications in our body shop, our paint shop, and also our assembly shop. About 90% of our manufacturing solutions in our factory has some level of intelligence to ensure consistent and repeatable operation. So these applications include, and is often a combination of various systems, and these systems could be anything from a transfer system to move the unit through the production process. It could be a welding system, which could consist of geometry tooling, robotics, welding equipment, a transfer system, and even things like ventilation that's interlinked with that system. It could also be a fastening system, for example, a torque application for torquing an operation in the suspension of a chassis. It could be a paint application or a production monitoring system, even a system to measure units, even in measurement systems. So thus the resources to design, implement, and maintain these systems are experts in control and automation systems and related software application. So in a nutshell, mechatronics is a key enabler for technological advancement in the manufacturing environment here at Isuzu.
All right, yeah, and for our viewers, we're going to give you just in a little while a video which Etienne will take us through of what it looks like inside the Isuzu plant and how mechatronics is actually at work and how it works. It's quite an eye-opener. Prof. Gorlach, my next question is to you. I want to find out, how does this chair activities benefit the mechatronics students and Isuzu, this partnership?
Thank you, Betty. For students, the big, I think, advantage is that they are getting a real industrial projects. So they need to demonstrate their problem-solving skills in designing of various systems, from the basic one to very complex one, and they're all real industrial systems. They also communicate with industry factory engineers about their designs, getting feedback, and that also helps them to learn quicker and improve their knowledge. So moving from the theory to real practice, that's what I think is the biggest advantage. For the company, Isuzu probably we can say, besides contributing to the academia, to the community at large, also benefiting by gaining some basic conceptual designs for some new problems that come in, of design variations that come into the factory, new vehicles, and that probably shortens their time in implementing the manufacturing systems.
All right. Thanks, Prof. So my next question is to Akanya. So you decided to go and study mechatronics, and you got to university, and obviously you enjoyed it because you are still there and you're doing your honors. But what would you say is the hardest aspect of mechatronics engineering so far for you, of studying it?
From the definition of the mechatronics degree, basically having different fields in one degree. For instance, you have your mechanical, your electrical, control systems, and we have a little bit of computer science. So the nice thing is basically having all these, but then it's to some people it might be also a bit of you might have time challenges and stuff because it's a lot of work. So for me, I feel like it has been about balancing basically the courses and everything, and basically being a student and yeah, being in a big city like Port Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yeah, one sometimes forget it can be challenging coming from a small town where you hardly have any access to computers and the industrial revolution tools and equipment, and then, you know, coming into town and coming studying it and, you know, and going to work in a place like Isuzu. Prof. Goller, is this qualification recognized for overseas work? So if they study at NMU Mechatronics, is it accredited in other parts of the country and world?
Thank you. Yes, because our program is accredited by the Engineering Council of South Africa according to specific standards, and those standards are recognized by a group of countries around the world under so-called Washington Accord. That means that our graduates can go to the countries around the world and their degrees are recognized basically as valid degrees in a particular field. So yes, we are accredited regularly by Engineering Council. That provides then for us opportunity to give our graduates a very valid and recognized degree. So that basically the answer is yes, it's internationally recognized degree.
All right. Akanya also mentioned that he chose this because it's a scarce skill. It's a scarce skill type of studies. Etienne, what is the career scope for mechatronic engineers now and in the future in the manufacturing industry?
Yeah, Betty, the field of mechatronics is very promising when it comes to job opportunities. Mechatronics is a combination of various fields of engineering. When you're essentially combining a broad range of skills in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and also computer science and control systems. So due to this very fact, the field of mechatronics has wide area of application, not only in the manufacturing industry, but also in other industries like the mining industry, also the agricultural, telecommunications, even fast-moving consumable goods, FMCs. You know, these include things like food and beverage and even pharmaceutical. Even the medical advancement moves towards technology advancement in terms of mechatronics like robotics. And also we're seeing it even in finance and business services. So the multidisciplinary skills and knowledge in the field of mechatronics engineering will give you the solid base you need to solve complex engineering problems. It will also give you a big picture perspective and flexibility and adaptability. And these are all key components of career success.
Yeah, no, it sounds like there's quite a wide career, a wide range of career prospects for someone who studies in mechatronics. If you mention that, you know, it's all those fields that we need automation and robotics and everything these days. Akanya, you mentioned that you're working on a final year project for Isuzu. What does that project entail?
Basically, as a requirement for the degree, each student has to complete a project. You actually have to design it and manufacture it. One of the requirements, or basically the requirements of the project, is that the project should basically demonstrate a mechanical engineering and also electrical control systems. Basically, what we call it, it's a mechatronics device. So my project is a durability test machine. It's for a tailgate car door handle. Basically, what it does is it isolates the handle. Because what happens is a common practice in engineering is that engineers basically design a part, and then they basically put in some requirements or specifications for the part, and then this is done through computer softwares, and then before or after the part has been manufactured, then we need to basically test this part to see if it actually conforms to these requirements that were specified. So this machine isolates the handle, and then it does what we call a durability test for like fatigue testing to see how far basically it's going to cycle the handle for like 50,000 cycles to see maybe how it performs. Basically, it's just going to open and close the handle, or like what normal human one when you're opening the door of a car. Yeah, basically it's just going to perform that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Sure, that's very interesting. I think one forgets, you just get into your car, start, switch it on and go, and that there are so many tests that needs to be in place to make sure that every moving part works, and even something such as your boot lever or handle. So that's very interesting. Etienne, would you consider the job of a mechatronics engineer as high impact, and why?
Yes, Betty, absolutely. I mean, the jobs in mechatronics are expected to grow rapidly in the next 10 years. I believe the Department of Labor and Industry has identified mechatronics as an emerging field that will be both high priority and high impact. And I mean, as a human civilization makes great strides in technological advancement, the manufacturing industry has experienced a big boost with the introduction of new automation concepts. So mechatronics is fast becoming a popular way for companies to produce goods with the quality and speed modern consumers have now come to expect from people of supplying goods. What mechatronics does for us, it saves time, in the manufacturing operation. An integrated production line is much faster in operation as compared to a system where different engineering concepts are detached from one another. It enables increase in output. So mechatronics has made it easy to manufacture mass amounts of products. Also, it improves quality at the process as a control through the automated systems are more stable and consistent. And also, it's more cost effective and thus drive more profitable business cases, which is a key enabler for capital projects. So a lot of companies in the industry makes really strong decisions in driving towards technological advancement, and mechatronics is the enabler for that. So definitely high impact jobs, no doubt.
Yes, I think as the world is getting more automated, then we need people to actually do that automations and develop those skills. So we're in for a treat, our viewers. We would like to show you a video of mechatronics in the workplace at Isuzu. Etienne will talk us through these videos.
Yeah, thanks, Betty. Here's just an example of a automated robotic cell where we do spot welding on a sub-assembly. In this video, we're doing welding of the wheelhouse sub-assembly and also the radiator support. In this case, the two robots are working sort of very much collaboratively in doing a spot welding application of a sub-assembly. And the reason why we go for robotics here is, we get really good, consistent welding. The technology we're using there on the robots for welding are servo-driven weld guns, so they're very accurate. You get very good welding control. Also, the robot center there is used for transferring the application. The next video is about a mainframing station. Here we bring body sides in, where we frame the body of a cab together using the body sides, the floor which comes in on an automated transfer system. So robots are used to bring these massive sub-assemblies into the workstation. It's then held together in geometry, and then we use a couple of other robots. I think there's a total of 6 welding robots, and it's a total of 4 handling robots, and they all work in harmony to then hold the parts in geometry while welding takes place. With this, you definitely eliminate a lot of ergonomic concerns if this was been a manual application. So that robotics is an enabler for doing things consistently, repeatedly at a high quality level, and also you get really good consistent welding application in this. So you can see that the robot gates are then removed after the initial framing has taken place, and then the station basically is used further for respotting of the cab after all the gates have now been moved. So now you create more space for the robots to come in and continue welding after you've established the first geometry of the cab. This is one of the very first pilots that we've built down this line, and it's proven to be extremely successful in terms of dimensional conformity, but also in terms of weld integrity. This video shows an application of robotic painting. Again, painting application, it's very much a hazardous environment for people to work in. There's a lot of fumes. It's not a healthy environment for people to work in, but you can apply robotics really successful here. The robots has got a very good repeatability, and also you get very consistent full mold application here. So again, robotics overcome a lot of issues that we typically have with manual application. You can see the way those robots spray the inside of that load box. They get to places where it's very difficult for people to get to. And also the environment is much cleaner, it's safer, and also you get a really good quality end product using robotics in a paint application like this. Here's an application of an automated body bank. So after units come from paint shop, we put them into that selectivity bank, and then from there we control the feed of units from that selectivity bank onto our assembly line. Where we use systems for transfer. You can see it's all automated, so there's no people moving in this area, so it's a safe environment. People should not go in there, and we keep people from it. Here we've got an application of a gluing cell. So this is where we apply sealant to the glass that's getting presented to a unit. So again, there's a lot of process control and systems that we have to regulate in terms of getting a good outcome, that you don't have water leaks. And robotics with a sealing system automated in this application gives you that consistency and a really good quality product. The next video shows you a typical transfer system in our factory. So here we're picking up a cab and a load box from a trim line, which is a conveyance system, and then we're moving this unit to the next phase of the assembly process. So it's a really good application to use automation, because you eliminate any ergonomics, and also you make it really safe to transfer units in this fashion. I think that's the last video, right? Yep. There you go. Thank you.
Very impressive. I've never been inside a plant. I've never seen these robotics in action. So I think it's extremely impressive. And thank you for allowing us inside the plant to see a bit how of all of this is put to work. So for those who have now decided to go and study mechatronics, we are going to tell you a bit about the admission requirements and the application process for the Bachelor's of Engineering in Mechatronics. But before that, we're just going to quickly show you videos sent in by former mechatronics students at NMU who are currently working in the industry, and they will give you a personal view of why they studied mechatronics and what it is like to work in the field of mechatronics.
Hello everyone, my name is Mark Tumwesije. I've just graduated with my MEng, Masters in Mechatronics. Just a quick one through what I've been requested to tell you about. Why did I study mechatronics? At the time, I thought that was challenging enough to do, but also mechatronics has a little bit of everything, which is very good for anyone who wants to remain relevant in your career. So it was a good field to go into at the time, and I think it's still the best engineering field at the moment. What did I enjoy the most? I enjoyed how practical the course was and how we were solving problems across the board. So would solve problems with the guys doing computer science, solving some problems, the guy doing applied math, with the guys doing electrical and mechanical. So having a little bit of everything and having the practical bit, I think, is what I enjoyed the most. And then the best personality traits for someone working in our field are definitely all the traits of a good problem solver. So you need to be able to listen, you need to be patient, you need to be able to go again, because most of our design processes are, you have to go again, back and forth. So you have to really be good at that. And then why would I advise anyone or any young person to come into the field? I think it's the future, or it is the present and the future. So anyone who is looking at doing engineering, I'd really recommend mechatronics as a field, because it's the future. We are very good design engineers, but don't get me wrong, when you go into the field, you can always branch or specialize into different control systems, mechanical engineering design, or electrical or instrumentation. So all of them are very good, all of them are very relevant to the times we're in. Once again, thank you very much. Very lovely opportunity to talk to you from Kampala, Uganda. Cheers, have a lovely.
Hi there, my name is Louis van der Westhuizen, and I'd like to take the opportunity to share my experience as a mechatronics engineer from an academic perspective, as well as my role as a professional in the working environment. Now, from a young age, I've been very interested in the engineering, mechanical processes and electronics, as well as problem solving. Now, I enrolled in a bachelor's degree in mechatronics and graduated in 2018, with my final project being the development of a low-cost vision system that's able to integrate with an industrial Fanuc robot to detect moving parts on a conveyor and sort and assemble them according to their shape and orientation. After obtaining my bachelor's, I wanted to dig a bit deeper into the academic side, and the university gave me the opportunity to pursue my master's degree, in which I did. And the topic of my master's degree was optimizing the control systems of coal-fired power plants using artificial intelligence, as well as developing condition monitoring algorithms to study the performance of boilers and to give engineers the ability to find ways to optimize control systems to reduce plant downtime and increase the plant's lifespan. I then went on to work as a professional in 2019, in which my title is to work as a process control engineer. Now, what a process control engineer does is I integrate the mechanical and electrical processes to get the full working system. So I can give an example of a project that I've completed at Aspen Pharmacare, which is a water for injection loop, or the biggest one to date actually is the Aspen Small Volume Parental 2, which is currently producing the Johnson & Johnson vaccine against COVID-19. Now, my job as the process control engineer was to write a code and design the control systems associated with each plant in order to produce the vaccine. I also commissioned the plant, and now I'm currently busy designing and developing control systems for a multi-stage reverse osmosis, a mobile reverse osmosis skid, because many companies now require vast amounts of water for their processes, but there's a significant water shortage in South Africa, and many companies are starting to drill boreholes, but the water is not up to spec for their processes and needs treatment and purification. Now, I don't mean to talk too much about myself, but I hope in this video that I could just sum up in a nutshell what my job entails as a mechatronics engineer, and I hope that I can maybe motivate and inspire anyone that really wants to pursue the field, because I can tell you now it's very well worth it. And at times the task may seem cumbersome and insignificant at the time, but once you take a step back and just have a look, and you realize what you've done is very rewarding, and you really do your part in society, and what you can do is save a life or advance technology. And I can definitely say there's a lot of opportunity out there. And as a mechatronics engineer, you understand the mechanical aspects and the electrical aspects, as well as the process and the control system. And it's something that's very, very rewarding, I have to say myself. And I encourage everyone who wants to study engineering to do so, and to do it as best as possible.
Hello, my name is Kamo. My surname is B. So I'm a 25-year-old Mechatronics graduated from NMU in 2019. I'm currently working at Aspen. Why I started? It started from a young age. So I always wanted to work in the car industry. I was always, as a rural boy, I was always fascinated about cars. And eventually when I reached the university level, so when they presented to us all the courses that are available at NMU, I was like, I would love to be part of this one, because I saw also the robots and stuff. So they showed us the end products of when you're a mechatronic engineer, what things you're exposed to and stuff. So I was interested, and I said I'm applying for this one, and the rest is history. In this field, what I enjoy about it is it sharpens me as I grow. It challenges me, and there's a lot of growth. And what I've seen about it is I've learned a lot of problem-solving skills, and also I'm still now pursuing my master's. So, which is one of the things that have made me to continue studying it, is I'm growing. So good, in a good direction of interacting with people, working more, because we deal a lot with problem. Which I think I'm growing more in a good direction of problem solving skills. I would say hard work, because most of times you go out there. Mechatronics just give you introduction of how to integrate things, and now it's up to you to dig down, to research more about these things, where you can find a solution about a certain problem, whatever problem you're facing, engineering problems. So hard work, teamwork, be willing to learn, be willing to be taught, again, because there's a lot of information that you need to integrate your electrical and mechanical to be one thing. So it's not easy. So you must work with people, you must be in a teamwork, and discipline. Yes, I would say the future is bright in terms of your jobs and stuff. Why I look at this, because if you can see now, the world is evolving. It's becoming more technological. Things now we're doing more. We're using your smartphones. We're using your Internet of Things. So you can get things done while you're at home. You don't need to go there anymore. So that's what Mechatronics does now. It brings those things to people. So your Internet of Things, your drones now, all those things that makes life easier. So I would say, if anyone wants to study Mechatronics, is to secure the future, to have much more freedom in future, not to struggle a lot in terms of work, as we see now, technology is taking a lot of work out of the space. So, and also it can give you much advancement to go to overseas and actually get the international experience, because technology is everywhere.
Hi, I'm Yanesh. I studied at UCT and I've been at Gendermark for 17 years.
My name is Christine Chetty. I've been at Gendermark for 3+ years and I studied at Nelson Mandela University.
My name is Brody van Goeveren. I studied Mechatronics at NMU and I've been at Gendermark for 6 months.
So I'm Hans van Rensburg. I studied at NMU and I've been working at Gendermark for 2.5 years now.
Why did you decide to study mechatronics?
For 2 reasons. Number one was, as a kid, I always enjoyed making things at home. I enjoyed using my dad's tools at home, fixing things, but I also enjoyed my computer.
I enjoyed the interdisciplinary aspect of it. So the fact that I could use maths in mechanics, in electrical design, and electronics, and of course, we know programming involves a lot of maths, logic, algebra.
And what do you enjoy the most about your work?
Probably just a challenge every day. It's a different thing that we get every day. It's never the same thing and repetitive over and over and over like that. So I guess it's, at the end of the day, it's just a challenge that we get given on the day that we look forward to getting over and beating. It's almost like a reward at the end of it.
Quite frankly, it's pretty cool. You work with robots, PLCs, and you see your projects become alive at the end, building parts, seeing things move. And I enjoyed programming the station because at the end of the project, I saw my work pretty much come alive and seeing the station building the parts and seeing my programming working.
What are some of the personality traits that allow these engineers to build these world-class machines?
Interesting question. I think that I've been fortunate enough to work with literally hundreds of mechatronics graduates, and I think that all personality traits can contribute. It's really about trying to find and position the right personalities doing the right thing. So from creativity to curiosity to that determination to solve a particular problem, to be able to communicate an idea to a customer, I think you need a broad range of personalities, and very often you don't find that in everyone. But it's really about combining the different personalities together that form the ideal situation.
Finally, why would you encourage students to study mechatronics?
If you're looking for a field that's going to challenge you and it's going to excite you every day and give you new things every day, then it's definitely the field to go into. And you get to code really cool things and see really cool things and work with the best of things at times.
I'd encourage people to study mechatronics because it covers so many aspects of engineering that if you're not sure at the end of the day what you want to follow, then mechatronics really allows you to almost pick.
Don't feel intimidated by the fact that engineering is male dominated. There are a lot of women in this field. The other thing is you don't have to act like a man to be successful in this industry. You can still be feminine, you can still be yourself, a woman, and you will have your place in this industry.
Very exciting to see all the students' views and how they're experiencing working in this field of career and why they chose it. So now that we've told you more about mechatronics, you also need to know what the admissions and application requirements are to study for a bachelor's in engineering in mechatronics. Nyameku Mhlonsi, who is a student recruitment specialist in marketing and communications at Nelson Mandela University, is here to tell us more about these requirements. Welcome, Nyameku. First off, when are applications up? I think you're muted. There we go. First off, when are applications open and when do they close for this course?
Evening, Betty, and the viewers at home. Thank you. Application opened on the 3rd of May. We're open already. We are closing the first batch on the 5th of August for early applications, and for late applications, we're closing on the 30th of September.
All right. So it's best to apply as soon as possible because applications are already open for grade 12 learners. Can they apply?
You can.
Sorry? Okay.
You can go ahead,
Okay. Can learners apply with their March results, or what do they need to apply with?
You need your grade 11 final results. If you apply with grade 12, we need your June results. But it is advisable now that they can use their grade 11 because June results are not out yet. To avoid losing out on a space, use your grade 11 results now because we are fully aware that everybody might have already have the grade 11 results. So my advice would be, do not wait for grade 12 results. Use your grade 11 final.
Yeah, and I think that's something that all grade 11s who's watching must take note of, is that their results in grade 11 is very important for applications when they go into grade 12 and decide on which courses to study. And what is the application fee for Mechatronics?
For all applications at Nelson Mandela University, it is free to apply. We don't charge an application fee.
All right. And if you apply for a certain course, can you change your mind later if you've been accepted?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, provided you meet the minimum requirements.
All right. Tell me more. Sorry?
Okay. With the application system, you're only allowed to change your second choice. But if you want to change your first choice, then you would need to inform our admissions department in writing. But they will respond to you, but provided you meet the minimum requirements, then they will look into your application.
All right. And tell us more about funding opportunities. How does NSFAS work?
NSFAS at Nelson Mandela University now, it is centralized. You apply yourself. The minute you have the Nelson Mandela University student number, you can apply without us having to accept you. You can still reserve your space at NSFAS using the student number. It's more like you are saying, NSFAS, I've applied at Nelson Mandela University. Here's my student number. Kindly reserve funding for me. The reason why we are saying that you can do that it is simply because we don't want you to wait for the outcome, and then NSFAS has got a different closing date with as compared to us, and then you lose that space while you're still waiting for us. Use that student number and say, NSFAS, I've applied at this institution, kindly reserve funding for me. Their selection process is merely, it's central. What do I mean when I'm saying central? They determine, they've got their own requirements, their own, it doesn't mean once you've been accepted in Nelson Mandela University, automatically you will qualify for NSFAS. They've got their selection criteria. But once you've been accepted, they will notify us in writing, and then we'll administer those funds on your behalf. On their behalf, sorry. But not only in NSFAS, there are a lot of funding opportunities out there. You don't have to apply for NSFAS. There are bursaries. You can even go to Google. You Google bursary that speak to the course that you want to study. There are also SETAs, engineering SETAs, retail SETA. It depends on the course that you want to study. So I always encourage students that don't only cast your eggs in one basket. Widen your net. Send all applications to different bursaries. If you don't know what companies, Google is a very powerful search engine. Type to Google. Let's say you want to do mechatronics. You can type in Google, bursaries, mechatronics. Google will give you all the bursaries with different contact numbers and requirements. Then you can apply that. You can, once they take you, you can bring that money through to us. You don't have to wait for Nelson Mandela University to provide you the bursary. Those are limited, but out there are a lot of funding opportunities.
Yeah, I think the most important point that you raised here is don't wait until the last minute, number one, and number two, do your research about all the opportunities that there's available. So thank you for that. We're just quickly going to put on a slide on the admission requirements at NMU. For those who'd like to study a Bachelor's of Engineering in Mechatronics, and this is for the current grade 12 learners who want to apply, and like you said, the applications are open now, so the sooner the better. So for current grade 12 learners, the minimum is a minimum NSC statutory requirements for a degree entry must be met. So you must have a degree entry. An applicant with NSC grade 12 mathematics requires a minimum applicant score of 410. In NSC achievement rating of at least 60% for mathematics. NSC achievement rating of at least 65% for physical sciences. So 60% for mathematics, 65% for physical sciences. Now we will ask the panelists to answer questions posed by the learners attending this webinar. So I'll just wait for the questions to come up. Okay, so our first question is from Kristen Marie, and I think it's a question for Professor Gorlach. How is mechatronics different to mechanical engineering?
It has an additional electrical and electronic engineering component in the course. You will be still studying the basis and foundation of mechanical engineering because it includes subjects such as strengths of materials, the fluids, for example, mechanical design, machine design, and advanced manufacturing systems design. That's mechanical subjects. And then you've got full range of electrical engineering and electronic engineering subjects, in addition to programming, computer programming subjects, which is about 5 of them, computer programming subjects. I hope I answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. The next question is from Jared, I think. Does mechatronical engineering have anything to do with programming?
If I may answer that too, as I already indicated, there are about 5 courses in our BH program on computer programming, because when you develop control systems, you need to program them. So you would be using all types of computer languages, including very specific one for electrical engineering and control systems. Yes, so there's a lot of programming in this course.
Oh, all right. Okay. Let's see what the next question is. It's from Jody Vaughan. If I don't meet the AS scores based on my matric, but I have sufficient math, languages, and physical science marks, and I've completed the BSc Honours in another degree, do I qualify to apply? I think this is also for Prof.
I think all the applicants must meet the minimum requirements. This is my understanding. Maybe I can be corrected. This is what it is in my view. You might be getting credit for some module that you completed in other degrees, but it's not guaranteed, you know, basically.
All right, and we will be the slides will be available in the live recording to see what the minimum requirements are, or otherwise you can contact. We will put up the website so that you can actually contact the NMU departments to find out if you qualify what you need. Our next question It's from Janet Berry. If you did not do IT in school, will you manage the computer programming modules?
Maybe Akanya can answer that. Akanya, have you done IT at school?
For me, for example, I didn't do IT. I didn't do. There's a module called computer-aided drawings, where we basically draw in computers. I didn't do that in high school, and but I managed. Basically, yeah, they'll teach you everything from basics to then advanced levels. Yeah.
All right, yeah. And Kanya is the best person to answer that. I'm just waiting to see what other questions, looking for other questions. Ryan from Grey High School. This one is, I think, good for Nyameku. Who can we contact at NMU for career guidance? Even if it's not for Mechatronics, for any career guidance.
We've got a page that is called My Future page. You can just go to the Nelson Mandela web page. You will find a link to My Future. You can log in there, make an appointment. We've got a team of about 3 recruiters from Mandela University. You can make an appointment. We serve in different areas, so whoever is responsible for that area will give you more details as what to do. But there are people that can assist you. We've been doing that for quite some time. So once you go to My Future, you make an appointment. There is a section that says online booking. You book there. A recruiter that's available will assist you with that information. Or even our contact details are there. Email addresses, contact numbers. We will be able to assist you.
All right, so we've got time for just one more question. It's from Nicola. What is a typical, and I think this is basically for Etienne, what does a typical day of a mechanical engineer at Isuzu look like?
Thanks, Betty, and thanks, Nicola, for the question. Yeah, well, a typical day of a mechatronics engineer at Isuzu, I mean, it's really twofold. The mechatronic engineers are very involved in projects, so if they're busy with projects, they'll be part of a design team. They'll be responsible for developing systems, designing systems to support any new installation, whether it's a robotic cell or whether it's a transfer system. They'll be part of developing the PLC logic. They'll be part of commissioning and buy-off of that system after installation. So they're very much involved in that setup of the system. If they're not involved with projects, they'll be responsible in the morning to start up any automated system. So what they'll do is they will revive the system in the morning. They will check the diagnostics on the system, make sure that it's healthy and that it's ready for start of production. And they'll also sort of ad hocly monitor the diagnostics of that system when it runs. And often there's things that go wrong. I mean, nothing is perfect in manufacturing environment. Things do go wrong. So they are the people that also have to recover from call it a breakdown solution. So if it's related to code or related to a piece of equipment as part of the mechanical and control system, they are the people that has to quickly respond and come up with a solution to recover from that problem. So yeah, they've got a very important role to play. They're also problem solvers. They need to also come up with better ways of doing things. So they're often getting involved with continuous improvement initiatives to see how can we do things better, more cost efficient and faster. So a lot of the things that they do on a day-to-day basis have got a huge impact in terms of the success of the way the production operation runs and also how it's maintained, and also then setting themselves up for advancing for the future when working on future projects.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that came out most for me today is the fact that someone who is in mechatronics is by nature a problem solver. So a problem gets thrown at them and they go and look at it from an analytical way of how we're going to solve this problem. So that's one of the important things. And I think another important thing is the fact that we must remember that it's not just for the automotive industry. It is actually, the scope is huge. It's medical, like Etienne said, agriculture. If you can work overseas, there will also be automation. And we're going into the fourth industrial revolution, which is basically about automation. And this is a great scarce skill to equip yourself with. So I would just want to say thank you to all the learners and parents who attended this webinar. You will find more information on our upcoming webinars on the Express Facebook pages. Here you will also find the link to the recording of today's webinar. And then I want to say a special thank you to our panelists for their time. I'm sure that you have definitely lit a spark or steered many of the learners watching in the right direction to make this important decision. I would like to give every panelist a chance to end off with a final word of advice to our learners. Can I ask Prof. Gorla, final words from you?
Thank you, Betty. Thank you, everyone, for listening and to us. I hope we inspired you to apply to the university for the mechatronics degree, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Etienne, final words from you?
Yeah, thanks, Betty. It was really lovely to be on this panel. I really enjoyed it, and I want to wish all the students and also the future students all the best with their studies and with their careers.
Thank you. Thank you for your time as well, Etienne, and for allowing us into the Isuzu plant. It's quite eye-opening. Akanya, some final words from you?
I would like to thank for the opportunity, and to the grade 12s, I would like to wish them luck in their exams and everything. And I want to say they should work hard, and nothing is basically impossible if you put your mind into it. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Nyameko, from your side?
Thank you, Betty, for allowing me a chance to speak to prospective students. To students out there, I would encourage you guys to apply. You don't have to apply to one institution. Like I said, widen the net. Take note of the closing date. Don't wait for tomorrow. Apply now. Use what you have. Most especially at Mandela University, take note of our program, MPCHP. It's closing now, end of June. If you are still waiting, you might miss the bus. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And thank you to our audience for watching. We will see you at our next live career webinar, where we will look into the world of artificial intelligence. And this will be at 5 p.m. on Thursday, the 22nd of July. To all our grade 12s, good luck with your year, good luck with the application process, and grade 11s and lower, remember that all those marks count. So thank you very much. Good night.